The movie begins with a party going on among young people, and at a table, some of them are playing cards. After a girl comments about eating whatever she wants whenever she wants, another girl asks if she doesn't gain weight, and the first girl replies that she doesn't because she doesn't consume many calories, as she tracks everything in an app. When the other girl asks the name of the app, she replies that it's called Countdown Indie. Then she shows another different app, which says it can tell a person the day they will die. Courtney comments that it's frightening, and the girl suggests that everyone download it, and whoever dies first will have to drink all the drinks on the table. Courtney says she won't download it, but after the other girl calls her boring, she decides to download it. As soon as they download the app, one says they have only 63 years left, another has 32, and a guy has 22. When they ask Courtney, she, shocked, says she only has 3 hours left to live. Since she lost, she has to drink. At that moment, Evan, her boyfriend, appears, and when he learns about the bet Courtney lost, he decides to drink in her place. As soon as they get in the car, Courtney realizes that her boyfriend is in no condition to drive, and she tells him to drive to her house, but he mocks her, asking if she's worried about the app she downloaded. Courtney gets out of the car because she realizes Evan doesn't care about what she said. Courtney receives a notification from the app saying that the user agreement has been violated, and when she checks the time, she has only 7 minutes left. However, she ignores this. At that moment, a man starts following Courtney, and when she realizes it, she panics and walks faster, causing the man to disappear. When she is almost home, the app notifies her that there's only 1 minute and a few seconds left. She runs and manages to get inside the house and turn off her phone. She hears a noise and goes to check, but there is no one there. When she goes to get a glass of water, she hears another noise and drops the glass on the floor after hearing a notification from the app, showing that only seconds remain. Suddenly, she is pulled upward and meets her end. Next, it shows Evan, who has been in an accident, and the scene cuts to a nurse named Quinn, who is considered an excellent professional by Dr. Sullivan. Minutes later, she goes to an area of the hospital where Evan is located and tells him that she does not advise him to stay there because it is a high-risk area. Noticing that he is nervous, she tries to calm him down and explains that it is normal to feel this way before surgery. Evan then shows Quinn the app that says he has only a few hours left to live. When he explains, Quinn does not take it seriously. He tells her about the app his girlfriend had, which said she had only 9 minutes to live, and after those 9 minutes, he crashed the car. Quinn tries to comfort him, saying that his girlfriend probably didn't die, but he insists that she did die that same night. He is very scared of the surgery, but Quinn says that someone must have created the app just to scare people. When Evan leaves, Nurse Amy says that she has warned him several times about being there, but Quinn defends him, saying that he needs a few minutes alone. Amy tells Quinn to follow her, and suddenly Quinn is surprised by a surprise party where they tell her that she has been promoted at the hospital. After Quinn comments about the app, one of the nurses downloads it and shows that he will live until he's 87, and Dr. Sullivan will live until he's 98. At that moment, an emergency patient arrives, and Quinn and the team manage to save the woman's life. As Quinn is leaving the hospital, she downloads and registers on the app, and she is surprised to see that she has only 2 days left to live. Dr. Sullivan, entering the elevator, asks where she will continue the celebrations, but Quinn says she can't because she has work to do. Quinn goes to her father's house and is looking for some paperwork when she finds a drawing she made for her mother when she was a child. As she finds the paper, she hears a noise and goes to check. She finds her sister Jordan with a guy inside the closet. When the guy leaves, Quinn tells Jordan that she shouldn't bring boys there, and Jordan responds that Quinn can't tell her what to do because she's not her mother. Jordan locks herself in her room, and Quinn mentions that she was officially promoted as a nurse, but Jordan doesn't care. This commotion wakes up their father, and after they hug, Quinn says she is leaving. Her father suggests that if she has any free Saturdays, they could go to the cemetery to bring flowers for their mother. At the hospital, Evan is worried about the app's countdown, so he decides to walk around the hospital. He notices something strange on the wall, and then a ghostly figure appears, causing him to hide. Suddenly, he loses his balance, the lights go out, and the app notifies him that there's 1 minute left. He turns on his phone's flashlight, and after failing to open the door, he hears someone coming down the stairs. He then sees a girl and thinks it's Courtney, but the ghostly figure attacks him, the phone and Evan fall to the ground. resetting the timer. Moments later, Quinn is informed by Amy that Evan had an accident on the stairs, which scares her, remembering that he mentioned the app and that she also downloaded it. Quinn goes to the room where he was and finds the phone with a cracked screen, unable to access it. She then goes to where Evan's body is and cannot access his phone using the fingerprint. Then she decides to unlock it using facial recognition, and when she succeeds, she sees that the app's timer has reset. Quinn is very tense and constantly checks the app. She calls her father and tells him that they will be able to bring flowers to their mother next weekend. Later, as Quinn passes by a room, she notices something strange. Suddenly, Dr. Sullivan touches her shoulder, startling her, and tells her to attend to a patient who is crashing, but she struggles with a piece of equipment and decides to leave the room. Dr. Sullivan asks her what's wrong, and Quinn explains that she's having a bad day. Dr. Sullivan tries to motivate her by saying that she is an amazing nurse. At this moment, while hugging her, he starts to make advances, but she pulls away. He then tries to kiss her again, but she pushes him away. He apologizes, saying it was not a professional behavior. Quinn says she wants to speak privately with Amy, but at that moment, Dr. Sullivan appears and tells her to check on a patient, which prevents Quinn from telling what happened. Later that night, Quinn researches how to uninstall an app, but she is unable to do so. Then she decides to search for the app's name and finds a news article about Courtney's death. Looking at Evan's phone, she discovers that Courtney was Evan's girlfriend. While reading the comments, she sees one from someone who says that the same thing happened to her friend. When she clicks on it, the girl describes that after downloading the app, she began to hear and see things, and then someone attacks her. However, Quinn sees comments from people claiming that it's fake. When Quinn shuts down her laptop, she is startled to see Evan and, in a panic, throws her phone on the ground, breaking it, and then leaves. But the app continues to function. She goes to the car to spend the night there. When she wakes up, she notices it's still dark outside. But suddenly Jordan knocks on the window, asking what Quinn is doing there. Once inside the house, Jordan comments on what Quinn did with her phone, and Quinn replies that she dropped it. Jordan then mentions a notification from the Countdown app saying that she only has one more day to live. Noticing that Quinn is anxious, Jordan asks if all this stress is due to the app. Quinn lies, saying it's not because it's fake, and she takes the phone from Jordan's hand when the girl says she wants to know more about the app. Later, Quinn goes to a store to buy a new phone and requests a new number and service. She then opens the box and checks the phone, feeling relieved. As she's leaving the store, the phone notifies her that the app has been installed. Quinn goes back to confront the store owner about the app, and the guy suggests that it's just a matter of deleting it. Annoyed, Quinn grabs her phone and leaves the store. Once she gets in the car, she checks and sees that she has only 21 hours left. Shortly after, she almost hits a man, and when she looks at the car's camera, she sees a ghostly figure behind her. When she turns around, no one is there. Suddenly, a hand grabs her, and she ends up crashing into the man's car. She falls to the ground, extremely frightened. While the man complains to her, Matt appears and defends Quinn. He then reveals that he is also bound by the app. Later, the two of them are at a bar discussing the app and the terms they didn't read, and next to them, there's a guy talking nonsensically. Matt then has the idea of using the guy next to them to read the terms, but Quinn disagrees. Nonetheless, Matt talks to the guy about the app that shows the remaining days of life, but the guy doesn't care and says it's all lies. The guy then downloads the app, and they take the opportunity to read the terms, but don't find anything new. At this point, Matt reveals that he was supposed to take a train the next day to visit his aunt but canceled because he wouldn't survive. Quinn also reveals that she canceled a trip with her father and sister. The guy who downloaded the app will live until he's 91 years old. Hours later, Quinn and Matt go to speak with a priest, and Quinn mentions the things she read about hauntings. The priest reveals that he doesn't believe in such things and tells them to find someone qualified. Moments later, Amy calls Quinn to discuss the previous day's events, and Matt goes to the bathroom. While there, someone starts messing with the door. When Matt looks, he sees the foot of a person and thinks it's a child. Shortly after, he hears a child's cry and becomes terrified when he sees the ghostly figure moving through the bathroom stalls. When Matt goes to check, the ghostly figure turns its foot and walks away. The lights start flickering and then go out. Matt turns on his phone's flashlight and a bathroom stall door opens. Suddenly, someone calls out Matt's name, and when he turns around, he sees a boy charging at him. When the lights go out again, the ghostly figure disappears. Meanwhile, Amy takes Quinn to a room where Dr. Sullivan tells her that he reported everything, but he actually lied and claimed that she cornered him in the office. The hospital director informs her that she is suspended. Quinn, extremely upset, decides to leave. Hours later, the two go to a church and, upon entering, they meet a very eccentric priest named John. After Quinn explains the situation, he takes out a book and tells the story of a king who went to a fortune teller to ask if he would survive a battle. She gives him a scroll with the date of his death. He sends his younger brother to the battle, but the brother survives and manages to lead and win the battle. When the brother returns to the fortune teller, he tells her that the angel of death is coming for him. The fortune teller assures him that it's not an angel, but rather a demon named Ozan, who would torment him. After this story, the priest mentions that the app seems to resemble the fortune teller's prediction. The priest then asks if they know anyone who can hack the app, and Quinn remembers someone who might be able to help. She and Matt go to the store, where the guy is about to leave, saying he's late for a date. However, they manage to convince him by offering him money and a high-limit credit card. The guy hacks the app, and Quinn views the names of people who have downloaded the app. The guy manages to change Matt's remaining time. When he looks up Quinn's name, she sees that Jordan has also downloaded the app and realizes that their remaining time is the same. However, the guy says it's not exactly the same because Jordan has 3 minutes less. Quinn asks him to extend her sister's remaining time. This works, as Jordan is notified. However, Jordan's babysitter mentions the rule about no phones at dinner and takes her phone. Minutes later, Quinn goes to Matt's house, where Matt tells her about his younger brother, who fell ill and stayed in the hospital. Matt confesses that he envied his brother's dinosaur robot and admits that he stole the toy from him. Quinn tries to comfort him by saying he was just a child. She then shares her own story about being grounded while her friend was having a big party, deciding to run away. Her mother went looking for her and was hit by a drunk driver. Matt tells her it wasn't her fault. Hours later, Quinn is sleeping when she hears someone at the door and tries to wake Matt. When Matt opens the door, the ghostly figure grabs her, causing her to panic. At that moment, she checks the app, and the timer resets to 4 hours of remaining life for both her and Matt. Quinn then remembers Jordan, and she calls Jordan's phone, but the phone is with the babysitter. Jordan wakes up, and as she approaches to get the phone, a hand touches her shoulder. She quickly turns on the flashlight. Jordan goes back to her room, and when she opens the app, she also sees that there are 4 hours remaining. At that moment, the hallway lights start flickering, and Jordan closes the door, but it opens again. Terrified, she hides under the bed and begins to hear her mother's voice. Suddenly, the bed moves, and a ghostly figure appears beside her. She then runs out and finds Quinn and Matt. The three of them go to Father John's church, where the priest reads the code and says that it is a curse that only ends when the person is destroyed. The priest gets excited because, as it's a curse, it can be destroyed. He says he will manage to do it, and Quinn asks if he has ever done this before. He replies that he hasn't, but he has read a lot about it. He then shows them that they need to create a circle with a hexagram made of salt, as unclean spirits are not allowed inside the circle. Jordan questions whether the salt could be blown away, and then Quinn comes up with the idea of using paint instead. After they finish creating the circle, Matt realizes there are only 2 minutes left and moves to a corner. Quinn follows him, and in the midst of their concern, she kisses him. The lights go out, and the ghostly figure appears, then disappears. Matt then sees the dinosaur robot, and as he picks it up, his younger brother asks why he did that. When Matt bends down to hand the robot over, the boy pulls away. As Matt steps out of the circle, he is pulled away, and Quinn runs out in a panic. Quinn tells Jordan that soon it will be their turn. When Jordan hugs her, Quinn notices that her sister is bleeding. Quinn takes Jordan to the hospital, and when she enters the room to see her sister, a nurse mentions that she heard about the situation from Dr. Sullivan and promises to support her. When Quinn looks, she sees Dr. Sullivan near Jordan and starts having flashbacks. She approaches him and thanks him, but when she checks the app, she sees that she only has 18 minutes left. Jordan reveals to Quinn that it wasn't her fault their mother died. She explains that when their mother asked about Quinn, she said she didn't know. Quinn comforts Jordan, saying she's not to blame for a reckless driver running a red light. After their conversation, Quinn hurries to Dr. Sullivan's office. Once there, she tries to get his attention, but Dr. Sullivan doesn't respond and asks what she wants. Quinn is there to request her job back and then leaves, saying she will be in the reserved area. Later, Dr. Sullivan goes to the reserved area and finds Quinn's coat. As Dr. Sullivan searches for Quinn, she hides and prepares to confront him. Suddenly, she emerges and attacks him, then announces that she will administer morphine to him. Jordan arrives to stop her, and at that moment, Sullivan is pulled away by the ghostly figure. Quinn explains to Jordan that Sullivan has the app, and if he dies before they do, the curse will be broken. While Jordan searches for Quinn, the ghostly figure appears, causing Jordan to flee in fear. Quinn enters a room and is unexpectedly attacked by Sullivan, but she manages to hide quickly, and when he least expects it, she attacks him again. He starts to flee, and Quinn throws an object at him. As she moves in to administer the morphine, the ghostly figure pulls her back. Meanwhile, Jordan is trapped in a room and begins to cry as she sees she has only 1 minute left. At that moment, a door opens, and when Jordan goes to check, the ghostly figure grabs her and throws her out of the window. She crawls on the ground, and the ghost pulls her leg. Quinn, seeing this, screams for the ghost to stay away from her sister. As she prepares to sacrifice herself to save her sister, Quinn sees her mother, who asks her where she was that night. She apologizes to her mother, becoming emotional, and then declares that she will no longer be controlled. She administers the morphine to herself. As she is being lifted into the air, the ghostly figure is destroyed, and Quinn falls to the ground. Jordan, in a panic, notices writing on Quinn's arm indicating where to apply the substance. Quinn then wakes up, and the two sisters embrace. The app shows that it stopped with 2 seconds remaining for Jordan. Days later, the three of them go to place flowers for their mother, and Jordan sees a news report showing that Dr. Sullivan has been arrested after other women came forward with accusations. As they are leaving, Quinn receives a notification on her phone. When she checks it, she sees that Countdown 2.0 has been installed. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with friends who enjoy movie recaps, and check out these 2 other videos. Thanks for watching.